Hello everyone. So welcome to the third part of this particular video of this particular series for Allure reporting. So talking about quickly about the first two parts. So in the first part we did talk about how to integrate Allure reports with your Selenium script, right? And in second video we did discuss about the various interactive features and features of Allure report, which would help you to provide as much as information as you could into your reporting, right? And in this video we are going to understand how can we attach our screenshots with the failed test cases, right? So see guys, as soon as the test cases fail, we obviously want the screenshots to be attached with the in the reports below that step, and also maybe we can want that let the stack trace gets attached in the reports, right? So basically whenever you have a failure in your Selenium code, you do get a stack trace, right? It says that okay, this particular thing failed at this particular line or howsoever it goes, right? So what I want to do is I want to print that particular error log also into my reports. Okay, so that's what we are going to see in this particular video. Okay, so for that now I'll quickly go to my Eclipse. Guys, I would highly encourage, please refer the first two videos also before you watch this video, so that we are in sequence and you do get each and every information that is required for Allure reporting. Okay, so now let me move to my Eclipse. Okay guys, so here am I. So this particular class we did make in our last class, right? Wherein we had set the browser, we did put the description, severity, story wise and feature wise, we did segregate our test cases and everything. Okay, so for now this for like attaching the screenshots of failed test cases, we would need TestNG listeners. Okay, so how to implement TestNG listeners? If you want details about it, I have already created a video on that, and guys please you can refer to my channel to get into that video. Okay, I'll also provide the link in the description. So right now let me quickly go and create a listener package. So new package. Okay guys, I'm creating it in src main Java. You can create any way you want. Okay, so I'll just name it listeners. Okay, and then I'll create a new class saying maybe test Allure listeners. Okay, I have it here. Okay, as we want TestNG listener, so we have an interface called iTest listener which we would need to implement. So I would write implements iTest listener. Okay, now this listener interface have got some methods which we would want to override. So in order for those methods to be populated here, I'll go to source and I'll say override implement methods. Okay, okay, so we have got all the methods here that are present within this particular interface. I do not want to override everything. Okay, so you can do something on finish, on start and all of these, but right now I want something which is on test failure. I only want to attach screenshots when my test case fail. Okay guys, if you want to do something even on test case pass, say for example you want the screenshot also to attach when your test case passes, you can do that in this on test success method. Okay, and similarly for others also. Okay, but right now I want to do it only for failure, so I'll check this. I'll say okay, I've got this method here. I'll just remove these extra lines. Okay, and now I would need two extra methods with me, so I have it already. Okay, so I'll just copy these two methods. I'll come here and I'll paste. Okay, let me import everything. Good. So let's now talk about these particular methods. Okay, so this one guys, so if you see this is @attachment, which is actually coming from Allure, right? io.qameta.allure. Okay, so what have you given here? This is a value. right? By what name do you want your screenshot to get attached? Okay, so this is the name. What's the type? This is an optional parameter. You want to give no, that's okay. Okay, so right now I've given that. Okay, I want my type to be an image of PNG type. Okay, okay. Now this prototype, guys, this is mandatory. Okay, name of function, obviously it's your choice, but the return type should be in byte array. Okay, fine. Now this thing is a typical Selenium code for taking the screenshot. That's what we have written here. Okay, so I'm passing it the driver parameter, and then it accordingly takes that driver and takes the screenshot. Okay, fine. Now this one is for logs, again with the @ attachment annotation. This is mandatory because this only says that okay, this is something which you need to attach. Okay, so here we are talking, we need to attach, so create an attachment, and then where to attach, that goes here. Okay, so if I'm calling this function here, if I'm calling this function here on test failure, so whenever the test fails, this function will be called and the screenshot will be taken, and below that step that screenshot would be attached. Okay, fine. Let's talk about this particular attachment. Okay, so value is the 0th argument, that is the name of this attachment would be the argument which you pass here. We did talk about this parameterized types in our last video for Allure, right? So 0th, printing 0 within curly braces means the 0 parameter that you have called within the function, right? Type is equal to text format. In the plain text format is what I want, and I'm simply returning the message here. Okay, instead of 0th parameter, I can just say stack trace. Let me write this. Okay, so with this name your logs would be attached. Okay, and on test failure I'll be simply calling both of these methods. Okay, now one thing, guys, you need a driver variable here in order to call this, right? But I do not have a driver here, so we'll talk about this, but let me just keep it with error for now, and I'll say save logs. Okay, now I have to pass a message here that okay, what type of logs you want to save. Okay, I didn't print E here. Okay, fine. So this here we are going to make use of this result variable. Okay, so result is something which is going to store everything, your test case run result. Now obviously we are coming to this function when a test case failed. You see, invoked each time a test fails. So obviously this result is going to store your everything about your failure results and everything, right? So what I'm going to do here is result dot get the name of the method through which you failed, and from that get the constructor method dot get name. So this will help me getting the entire stack trace. Okay, good to go. Now talking about this driver, right? So let's see our class. So guys, right now we have driver here, right? This driver is for this particular class, but right now say we have only one class, but tomorrow we can have 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, n number of classes, right? So we need to have this driver at a common location. We need a common driver to be called by each and every class, and only that driver we can pass to our listers also. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'll be creating a new package called base, and within that I'm creating a new class called test base. Okay, so here now I'll make a driver variable. Okay, so I'll create static web driver. Okay, and now what I'll also do is I'll say public void initialize. Okay, so I've created this particular function. Now what I'm going to do here, so within the setup method for here, we had set this property for Chrome driver silent output property. Then we have set the executable path for our Chrome driver. We have launched it, we have maximized, and then we have put an implicit to it, right? This driver.get is something which is for this particular class, so I won't touch it, but let me cut this all, and I would go to my test base and I'll print it here, as simple as that. Okay, so we have a driver method in which we have a driver variable, and then we have an initialize method wherein we are initializing that particular driver. Okay, now I would create one more function called public static. The return type of this would be a web driver, and then the get driver function. Okay, and what are we going to return here? We are going to return driver. Okay, so this driver is not public. Okay, get driver is public static, and I'll be returning my driver variable here, right? So this get driver function can be called from anywhere where you want to use this driver variable. Now moving back here, right now I have a local driver variable created here. I'm local to this particular class, and I'm saying driver.get. So obviously it would be giving me an exception saying, okay, this driver is not initialized, right? So what do I need to do? First of all, I'll say that, okay, I'm extending the test base class. Okay, after that I can create an object of test base. Okay, followed with what I need to do is I obviously need to initialize it first, right? Only then the driver would be initialized, and then what I can say is to my local driver call get driver function. Okay, so this get driver function would help me assigning the value to this particular driver variable, and that's all, guys, right? So what have I done? I have put everything like initialization and every code within this particular function, so it would initialize it, and then when I say get driver, it would get me the driver, and I would assign that value to my particular driver variable of this particular class, and I'm good to go, right? Similarly, coming back to my listeners, what I'll do is test base dot get driver. I'm good to go. Okay, that's all with the entire setup thing, guys. Okay, so what did I do? Nothing much. I've just created a listener class, and which I have overridden this on test failure method. I have created two attachment annotations, one for screenshot, one for logs, and I've called both these methods here, right? As I wanted a common driver, I created a test base class, and I have created this driver here. I created a function which returns this driver, and this is a function which is initializing, or which is being responsible right now for initializing the driver in each and every other classes. Okay, that's all. Now let's go to our form.xml file, right? So here, guys, we know that we have Surefire plugin which is responsible for executing our test case suite, and we have put the path to testng.xml. So within this testng.xml, you need to specify, right, that I or my class want to work with this particular listener, right? Because we have created a listener, but how does my class know that, okay, I have to work in accordance with this particular listener? I'll have to tell them, right? So for telling them, what I do is, here I have already put it, so you need to put a listeners tag below your suit tag. Okay, within that you'll get this listener tag with the class name. What the value that you need to put here is package name dot class name, right? So my package name is listeners, you see here, dot my class name test Allure listeners. That's all, guys. Okay, we can now run our code. For that, I'll go to my form.xml and let me click on run. Maven build. Okay, I want to clean test. Okay. So guys, meanwhile, just let me tell you one simple thing. Say you do not get that option. So what you need to do is you can right click here. You can say run as, go to run configurations. Okay. So here by default your project would be selected within TestNG. Go to Maven build. Okay. You get a new configuration icon. Click on that. And you need to put your goals here. Okay, so just put clean test and then you'll start seeing the option which I got. Okay, fine. So let me close it now. My test cases are getting compiled. Let's wait for its compilation to be successful. Okay, so it's picking up my test cases now. Okay, so my browser is launched. It's going to my amazon.in. Right, so now validate everything and close it really quick. Okay, and we are done. Test run 2, failure 0. Okay, so sorry for that. We didn't do anything wrong. So how is my test case going to fail, right? Okay, guys. So we did create two test cases last time, right? One in which we are validating the title and another in which we are validating the sign-in link of the page. So basically here what we are checking is if my element of sign-in link is present or not and if my value sign-in is getting printed there or not. Okay, so let's do something. I want to fail one of these test cases, right? So what I'll do is I will quickly type something incorrect here. Okay, let me just type incorrect itself. Okay, so now this is obviously going to fail, right? So we'll need to run our test case. Let me just save it. So right now your one test case would pass and another would fail, correct? Okay, so I'll go to my pom.xml and run it again. Maven build, clean test. Okay. Okay, it's picking the test suite. We need to wait for it to start the browser. Okay, so my browser is launched. It has opened Amazon. Let's wait. It should like quickly validate the stuffs and close my browser, right? Okay, so it has closed. Let's see the results. Okay, so you see here guys, it say that there were 2 test run and there was 1 failure, right? So our 2 test cases has run, 1 has failed. That was as expected. Now let me just refresh this. Okay, so I see my Allure results folder generated here. So as usual, what I'll be doing is I right click on it, go to its properties, copy its path. Now I'll go to my command prompt. Okay, now I would say Allure serves right click paste path. That's so. Okay, so it's generating reports to my temp directory. So my reports are loading. Let's wait. Okay, done. So we see here, guys, we have 2 test cases, 1 passed, 1 failed, right? So validate title has failed as expected and sign in link has passed, right? Okay, so we did talk about this categorization thing in our last video. So we see that there is one product defect, right? So as our assertion has failed, it's taking it as a product defect. Okay, so by default, there are two categorizations in Allure. One is product defect, another is test defect, meaning either there is some issue with your product or there's some issue with your test cases. Okay, so as we saw in the last video, if you want, you can also create your customized categorizations. Okay, so let's go within this. Okay, so we see here expected incorrect online shopping site in India, which we had provided, but it found this one, right? Okay, and as we come here, I see the screenshots and logs. Let me scroll down. I'm seeing the screenshot. Okay, and you are also going to get the logs, right? Saying, okay, expected was this, but I found this and everything. Okay, guys, so this was attaching about the screenshot of your code with the failed test cases. As I said earlier, you can do the same for this also, for test success also. Okay, just taking a quick round. Within suits also, if you go, you will be able to see the failure test case, all the steps that you have provided. For this one, you'll see that, okay, this passed, element, value, and everything. Okay, so that's all for this video, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick tip on one thing which I was initially finding challenging, but then I was able to find a solution. So I would just like to share it with all of you. So, okay, so I'm back to my Eclipse. Okay, here, guys, so we did see about the steps feature in our last video, right? So these steps allow us to put the steps in our, you create a function and put this @step along with this description here. It does test case in the Allure report. But then how is this made? How is this constructed? This @step is made in a way that it's always important to write it above the function name. Okay, now you may come across a scenario wherein you don't want to create a function for each and everything. Okay, say I'm creating this test case, right? And I don't want, like, say I have 15 lines. I want my logs to be printed for most of those lines, and I can't keep creating functions for everything. But at the same time, I also want logs, right? So what do I do? Okay, so a quick, easy workaround for that. Okay, so I'll create a @step, okay, in which what I'm going to do is that, okay, print whatever comes to you as a argument. So I'll create a function public uh, void log reporter maybe, okay, and I'll say string message, that's all, okay, and I'll say return message. Okay, guys. Okay, so its return type should be string. Good. It's giving me some error. Okay. Sorry, I need to do this. Yeah, good now. Okay, so what am I doing? Here, what to print in the step? I have a zeroth parameter. Zeroth parameter would be the message which you send along with calling this function. Okay, so now whenever you have to create some logs and you don't want to create a function, just call this particular function. Like right now, say, okay, let me minimize this. Great. Okay, so right now here, say I want to do this. Okay, or maybe like here, firstly, I want to print something. Okay, so what I can do is I'll simply call the function log reporter. Okay, so whenever you want to print something, so instead of going for Going for creating a function, just call this function and say whatever you want to say. Now I am starting my test case. Okay, so what it will do, it will call this particular log reporter function message and it will return. So this message will get printed and so on. Okay, so this was a quick tip around if you so just create a simple comment function for this and you are good to go. Okay, I really hope this tip helps you, and also this brings me to the end of this video. Hope we have together uh, able to understand the entire Allure functionality, and this should be more than enough for you guys, like for all of us to integrate along with our Selenium script. Okay, like we are logging everything, we are attaching the screenshots. This is all good. This should be very helpful for managers and stakeholders also to understand your code or your test case results very nicely. Okay, thanks for watching guys, and feel free to let me know for any questions you have. Okay, thanks. Bye bye.